table where we laughed and talked all day. So long ago, love was offered. The joy of being together made you want to stay. Take me back.
Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana and I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we are going to be working on this beautiful bounty from our garden. We have gotten quite a few green beans and a lot of tomatoes that we need to do something with. And we went to the farmer's market and I did buy a small basket of green beans just to fill in these so I know I'll get a canning. And we bought some beautiful peaches, and I'm going to take some of these peaches and I'm going to make pickled peaches out of them. And we're going to can the green beans. We're going to freeze the tomatoes. I'm going to just cut the core out and cut them in pieces, put them in the food processor, and then just grind them up. They'll all need to be washed, and those will be really good. I have some squash that need cooking, and I have some cucumbers that probably will go to my friend across the street, Aiden. I hope he will take those for me. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you to death with me breaking beans. So I'm going to get busy and break these, but I did want to show you some of these yard-long green beans that we've been raising. Aren't these amazing? These are just absolutely beautiful. And we just grew them right over the trellis out in the yard, and they're just so pretty. But breaking green beans, as we call it, it couldn't be simpler. You're just going to break the ends off. You're going to pull and make sure there's no string. And then you're just going to break them up into little pieces. And we're going to wash them and put them in bags until we get ready to process these. All right, good morning everybody. It's the next day. And we just got back from our walk, so I probably look like I don't know what. But anyway, I'm going to go to the gym here in just a few minutes, but I want to get this at least one canner going of the green beans. Now, Papa and I broke these green beans and washed them and yesterday. Now, my canner holds 7 jars, and all we're going to do is fill these jars up almost to that bottom rim of the jar. And then we're going to put some cold water over them because these beans have been in the refrigerator overnight, so they're cold. So we're going to start out with everything cold. You have to remember that when you're canning. We are going to be pressure canning these. I'm not adding salt because salt does not help preserve food. It just helps with the taste. But I prefer to do that when I open the jar. And we'll go back and adjust them and do all the things to make sure nothing's wrong. That one looked like it had a chip, but it didn't. Most of the time, I use 4-jar lids. I don't know if you can see that. I love these lids. I hardly ever have a failure. And most of the time, if I do, it's because I have a chip in my jar and I didn't catch it, or, you know, user error. Okay, we're definitely going to have 2 cannons. That's exciting. Let me get me some cold water. We get up in the morning, Monday through Friday, and walk around our subdivision. And then on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I go to the gym and do a class. And I really look forward to it. It's really helping my mental outlook. You just want to come up to the very bottom of that lip right there. These jars were clean. You do not have to sterilize your jars anymore. That was a guideline that has changed. And that's why it's a good idea to check the guidelines. I got a little bit too much in that one. Every so often, because sometimes things do change. They figure things out that I can't do anything when I'm talking. There we go. They figure things out that are different from what our grandparents did or mom and dad did. And if you're a new canner, I highly recommend that you go to the National Home Food Preservation website or get yourself a really good ball canning book. Both of those will give you all the information you're going to need to start pressure canning. Now, I also recommend, especially for new canners, the electric Presto canner like the one I have, or one similar. Now, this is an investment. It's about $250, and you can buy a stovetop canner for under $100, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked this year. But you want to, if you want to kind of like take a little bit of the stress out of canning, and a lot of people have stress when they, are learning a new skill. And you want to follow the guidelines and do all the things. But I find that this electric canner, I just love it, guys. It's so simple. All I do is just what you see me doing, and I'll put these in the canner and I'll get it going. Now I'll have to babysit the canner for just a few minutes until it comes up to temperature, simply because I don't hear well and I don't hear the beeps. So let's get our jars in the canner. Look how simple that was. Get our lid. We're going to make sure this is on vent. This is your regulator. We want to put it on vent for right now. We're going to lock it down this time, and I'm going to hit next, which is going to start warming everything up, and it will get the contents of the jar and the water in the canner, everything will come up to the same temperature. It'll start venting for 10 minutes, and once it gets finished venting, it'll count down. It'll tell you, put your regulator on or turn it to can, and we'll do that, and that's all you have to worry about. When it gets finished, I highly recommend that you just let it sit there for at least 10 minutes after it says it's done. And then just turn the lid, crack it just a little bit, and let it sit another 10. That way you don't have shock, because like here in the South, we have our air conditioners running full blast, and it's cooler in the house. And so that's going to be screaming hot, and we want to make sure that we don't have any shock on our glass. So we're going to get those done, and then we'll get the rest of these done. I won't bore you with the rest of these, but the next thing you'll see is me working on these peaches. We are going to do some pickled peaches, and I'm excited to have those on my shelf over there, and I'm excited to have these green beans on my shelf over there. So I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so we're ready to get started on our pickled peaches. I have the ingredients set out over here on the counter, and I have I think it's 4 pounds. I'll put the recipe in the show notes, so don't worry. 4 or 5 pounds of peaches, And we are going to put them into boiling water, and just to get the peel off. Now these are cling free, I think is what they're called. So these are, I've already been eating on some of these. These are delicious. And we're just going to let them sit in here for just a minute. And then we're going to put them over into our cold water. I've already gotten 2 canners of green beans. And then I'm going to have 1 bag to go in the freezer. We want to let them stay in there long enough to get going. This doesn't matter if you're cooking them because we're going to cook them anyway, but we don't really want to handle them when they're really, really hot. So we're going to put them in an ice bath to get the peelings off, and then I'll show you how we're going to mix all this together. It said that this recipe should make 5 pints, so I'm doing it in jelly jars, which holds 1 cup. A pint is 2 cups. So I'm hoping I'll get 10 jelly jars of this. So that'll do us for a long, long time. Now you can see this peach has a little bad spot. That's okay. We're going to cut that out. It's not going to be a big deal at all. And that just comes right out. And look how well these skins are peeling off of this. I love that so much. I saw over on True Grit Appalachian Homestead YouTube channel, and I saw Megan doing them like this. I thought, oh, that's the way to do them right there. In this pan, I have 4 cups of white sugar. And I have 1 cup of white vinegar and 1 cup of water. I have my peaches ready to go in as soon as this gets to boiling. In my jars over there, I have 2 cloves. And I'm going to put a part of a cinnamon stick down in there. And we will water bath these for 10 minutes, and they will be delicious with beans and cornbread and all the other stuff that we've got going on, right? I love these kind of days in the kitchen. I realize that you're seeing some repeat things, but this is Life with Donna, and this is my life right now today. I had tomatoes, peaches, and green beans that had to be put away for the winter. So this is boiling really well. So I'm going to add our peaches in there, and that's about 5 pounds of peaches. And I'm going to turn this down just a little. I'm going to let it come back up to a boil. Well, I guess I should leave it up a little bit. We're going to let it come up to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down for just a few minutes. And let it just simmer slowly while, for 20 minutes while we get the kitchen kind of straightened back up. This is going to be so good. I keep looking at my canner because it is venting for 10 minutes, and I need to close the regulator as soon as it gets through venting so that it can come up to pressure. Alright, so I'm going to let this start cooking. I'm going to reset the kitchen, and I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, so we have our peaches, and they're cooked down. I didn't hardly cook them. I think I cooked them... it said to do 20 minutes. I think I did 15. And the reason is I don't want them to be completely just mush. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put them in these jelly jars. And I have 2 cloves for each jar. And I don't know how many jars we're going to get. So we're just going to see what we can get here. I have a slotted spoon, and I'm going to put a little bit of the peaches in each one. And I've got a lot of juice. It is beautiful. It's such a lovely color. And they have a wonderful smell. And I can smell the clove in the jar there. It's going to be gorgeous. And it's going to be so good. Once I get the peaches and the liquid over them, I'm going to put in a piece of cinnamon. And we're going to close these jars up. And when our green beans get finished over here, we will start canning these peaches. And whatever liquid is left over, we'll figure out something to do with that. Because I don't want to waste it. I'm just getting each jar up to that last rim that your ring sits on. Alright, so now we're going to take our paper towel with some vinegar on it, and we're going to wipe these rims. And then we'll put a brand new lid and it doesn't have to be a new ring, but because we're going to take those off once this product cools way down anyway. But these will be fine sitting right here until we get ready to process them. And again, we'll just try to match the temperature of the water in the canner to the temperature of the jars. Right now it's really hot, but it probably will cool down by the time we get those out and get everything switched out. That one is not wanting to work for me. There we go. Once these jars cool and you take your ring off, you're going to want to give them a wash, because as you can tell, they're sticky on the outside. It'll probably be real sticky up and under that ring. Okay, so now we're going to tackle these tomatoes. I saved just a few just to eat on. And I think I'm going to put this one up here because it's so pretty. And what we're going to do, this is a tray for my freeze dryer. That's what I'm going to do with all of these tomatoes, is I'm going to freeze dry them. But I'm going to have to wait until it cools down. Alabama is hot, hot, hot right now. And it's only going to get hotter. So probably around September, October, we'll start freeze drying things again. And I want to have a bunch of these precious tomatoes that we have grown. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And we're going to just cut the core out, and any little imperfections like that, I'm leaving the skin on, because when you freeze dry it, it's going to turn into a powdery. If you freeze dried these in just like you cut it like for a sandwich, it would look just like that. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put them in my food processor and chop them up really quick and get going. So let me get me a bowl. Just grab this plate. So we're just going to cut these up. And I'm just going to cut these cores out. Some of these are German Giants. I wouldn't grow those again. They have a large core. I don't care for that much. Makes it more work on me when I go to process these. Got a little spot on the bottom, so we're going to take that off. And I'm not worried about the peeling at all because, as I said, that's just nutrition. And when we freeze dry it, I'm going to turn this into a powder and it'll be just great. I love making tomato powder. Some of these have some spots on them, so we're just going to get those out. We don't want to let any of these go to waste. They're so precious. You just can't get a good home grown tomato from the store, or at least I don't think you can. And so I'm going to I've got some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put those in there. I have one that was really small, kind of grew together. I'm not sure if this was a cherry tomato or a big tomato, but it doesn't matter. And see how this looks on the other end. That end didn't look very well. This makes it a lot easier when you're processing, especially when you're having a big day like today and I'm processing a lot of things. This is very helpful to do it this way. Another thing you can do, if you don't have a freeze dryer and you want to make tomato sauce, is just to bag these up, just like they are. I would cut the core out and I would put them in a bag and I would just set them in my freezer. And then when you defrost them, put them in a colander, and all of the excess liquid will drain out of them, and you won't have to cook them down and cook them down and cook them down. So, all right. All right, let's see how we get this going. Give me a towel. Now, I'm not really looking to make tomato sauce. I don't really care. So we're just going to pulse this. I just want it to where I can mash the bag flat. I'm not going to add any salt to it. And I think that's going to be just fine. Get a bag. And I find that about a half a bag works really well. Then I'm going to seal this bag really well, get all the air bubbles out that I can, and I'm just going to lay it in my freeze drying tray. when I get ready to freeze dry these tomatoes, I'll just take it out of this plastic Ziploc bag, and we will put it in the trays, and we will go to town dehydrating them. Not dehydrating. We'll go to town freeze drying them. This is a quick, easy method, and I really like this method a lot, especially when I have other things going on. My canner is now in cooling off mode, so we'll be able to get the other things in there here pretty soon. I'm still having trouble with my wrist. Can't seem to get that to... See how some of them look? Some of them are just... And well, from what I've read, it's a form of blossom end rot, and I just don't understand why they're looking like that. We can cut around a little bit of it. That one's no good either. That's the way it is. Sometimes, see? I think it's the ones on the end row, and I'm really thinking about telling Papa just to pull them up. Pull them up and get them out of there, because I don't need this. We're going to have plenty of tomatoes anyway. I'm not going to need to worry with why these are doing this. Just get rid of the plant. But I think I know exactly which two plants these are coming off of. And they are supposed to be early girls that we bought from our local co-op. And I'm sure it just has something to do with, this is the first year we've had a garden here, you know. I'm not blaming the people who sowed the plants, but it sure is frustrating when you can't get, you lose 4 or 5 tomatoes. Let me empty this. When you're cutting into this is a German giant. When you're cutting into that, you can feel that core. I just do not like that. I had my first tomato sandwich the other day. I don't know if you guys got to see that video yet or not. If you didn't, go back and watch it. It's a good video. That one is completely bad. Now these are the German giants, and you can tell by the way they do get big tomatoes on them. I will give them that. But you have that much core. I mean, to me, it's a lot of waste. I won't grow that variety again. See if I can get one more in there. Now this one is an early girl. It's from a different plant. Look how pretty. So you just don't know. And again, we just want to make sure we get all the air out. We're going to stack them on this tray, and I'm going to freeze them right on that tray so that I know that they'll stay this shape, and then when they're frozen, when they get frozen, I will take them off of the freeze dryer tray and stack them in my freezer. And I won't have to worry about them fitting in here. But right now, I want to make sure they're going to fit inside that tray. These smell wonderful. You can do this same process and of course just freeze them. And when you want to make something, you can get them out and do something with them. Alright, so we got everything out of the canners. Everything looks beautiful. We wound up with 14 jars of green beans, 10 jars of pickled peaches, 2 jars, I don't really know what to call this. I added another cup of sugar to the brine that was left, and it looks like it's going to gel pretty well. I will love this. This is something that I will really like. It'll be really sweet, be really good with pinto beans and all kinds of things. Papa came in and fixed lunch for us, and I really do appreciate that. We also had 5 quart bags of tomatoes. Those are already in the freezer. So we got a lot done today, and I'm super excited about filling the freezers, getting ready for the freeze drying in the fall, and the canning that we keep doing as we go. Remember that Nana loves you. Remember, I'm so proud of you. And remember, you always have a friend here.